Thank you. Hi. Okay, so my name's Stuart Gall. As David's already said, I'm actually one of the founders and a director of Fusion. But since November last year, I've also been the CEO of MedaPhor, one of the spin-out companies out of Cardiff University. So what do we do? Well, as we're based out of the excellent MedaCentre. I've got to say, if anyone's looking to set up a company, MedaCentre is a cracking place to be. MedaPhor has been there for a number of years now. And what we do is that we are an ultrasound training business. We train people how to use ultrasound. For any of you that has been involved or witnessed being part of having a baby, you'll probably have all seen an ultrasound in action. And what we do is help try and overcome what is a massive bottleneck at the moment in training. Ultrasound is used in a number of applications in hospitals, and there's an increasing demand on having more and more people able to use this excellent tool. And one of the issues there's about three main issues, that's why there's a problem, is that it's a complex training. It's quite difficult to learn, and you need patience to learn on. And to be honest, there's not many patients that want to let people learn on them, especially when it's an internal examination. You need an expensive piece of kit. So you need to use an ultrasound machine. And of course, the hospital wants to be using that kit actually on patients. It doesn't really want to be training them because that's downtime. And then finally, you need a trainer. You need someone to teach you. And again, that's an issue because that trainer should be doing their day job. They should be in there seeing patients, not training people. So there's this big bottleneck, and MedaPhor has we've been going since 2004. I spent the last 6 years bringing to the market a product that will help relieve that bottleneck. And that product is called ScanTrainer, and it's a virtual interactive training machine. It gives you a virtual patient to learn on, and that helps bridge this gap between your current curriculum-based training and actually the patient. It's a tool to get you to learn how to train on patients. And this is it. You might have seen it as you walked in through the door. There's a big stand as you come in, and the system is based around a haptic arm. It's the clever bit of the technology. Haptic arm is basically, it's like if any of you've played PlayStation 3 or a driving machine and you get a steering wheel and it kicks back at you. That's what this haptic arm does. If you're using a probe attached to that arm, as you push that probe in, it actually feels like you're getting resistance. So it pushes back on your arm, and that combination of feel combined with all the visual aspects that I'll show you in terms of the combination of a real ultrasound scan and a real patient's virtual anatomy combined with the actual holding the arm gives you a very clever way of learning how to ultrasound, all the basic skills of ultrasound. So this is actually the simulation device as you'd see it if you were on the machine. You can see it's got four main components. So, sorry, wrong buzzer. That one. So you have here a virtual anatomy. So this is patient's anatomy, and what the haptic probe is, the probe is actually working out where it is in that anatomy here. You see the probe, and it's got the ultrasound fan, and it's showing you exactly what the orientation of the fan is, and you're learning whereabouts the orientation of the probe is within the body. Here is a real ultrasound scan. So this is an actual patient scan that relates exactly to where the probe is, constantly changing, constantly moving. It's exactly what you would see if you were doing an ultrasound scan and looking at an ultrasound machine. Down here are all the key ultrasound controls. So again, this is what you would see on an ultrasound machine. All your standard controls, freeze, picture capture, annotation, time gain sliders, so you can change the ultrasound image. And then importantly here are all the different tasks and tutorials. As I say, this is a device to help you learn by trial and error. So what it does is breaks down all the different elements of the learning process, puts them all into separate tasks under different assignments, and takes you through them step by step. You follow those processes, and everything then is recorded as you do it. So, for example, if the probe's pushed in too hard, you actually get real feel, you get the feel coming back from the haptic device, you get an indicator telling you how much pressure you're indicating on a green for good pressure, yellow through to red if you've pushed too hard. And actually the machine will also give you audible feedback, so it will gasp. It will actually gasp if you push too hard. And it really does work, because of course a haptic device on its own isn't going to be enough to truly replicate a patient, but when you combine all these visual, audible and feel senses together, it's exactly like training on a real patient. And I've got to say that when we've taken it into, it's been on beta trial in 3 of the key UK hospitals, it's been over to America for people to use, it's had well over 100 people actually train on it, and almost every single person we've shown this to have got, wow, actually this is amazing, really, really real. It's like training on a patient. So once you've completed your tasks, you then move into the learning management system. And the learning management system is the engine that's sitting behind all this, because the whole time you are trial and error learning, it is recording what you're doing. And so as a trainee, you basically have all these different, you can't really see them properly there, but these are all the different tasks in the module, and you'll have next to it either a cross or a fail. Now, I'm not a trained sonographer, so I get X's when I do it, but I am getting better because I've got some ticks. And what you do is you roll your mouse over it, it'll actually give you feedback. It'll explain that when you introduce the probe in the sagittal plane, you're out by 14 degrees. It'll tell you why you failed, or sorry, why you didn't pass. And so hopefully from that you'll be able to learn and then go back and pass it the next time. Again, the important thing, of course, is that you're doing all that without the need for the tutor. Normally, a tutor would have to be standing there explaining, watching, recording. Are you doing it okay? Yeah, okay. You don't need that in this case. You just need to be set up, you're on, and then the tutor can, at any time they want, go in and look at all their trainees and how they're doing on every single module. So here, for example, you could say, right, okay, module 3, I probably need to go in and spend 5 minutes with tutor X and give them a little bit of advice on what they're doing wrong. But it means that you can tailor, minimise the amount of downtime that you have from doing your job at the hospital to training, and it's a much more efficient way of doing it. So how do we manage this? Well, as I say, starting any business it's difficult. You know, it is a really hard thing. As David said, it's a long process. It takes time. You really do need people that are dedicated. You know, they've got to love what they're doing. They've got to absolutely believe in what they've got as a product and absolutely believe they can make it a success. You've got to have massive reserves of energy. Nazar's in the audience. I won't put him out, but Nazar's here, and he's been a massive support of that all through the good and the bad times, because whatever happens in your business, you will have bad times. Not everything's going to go perfectly, and you've got to have the drive and energy to get through those bad times. You've clearly also got to have a good product. David touched on it before, but you know, without a good product, with a clear need, a clear market to sell into, and the ability to get into that market with some clear differentiators from the competition, or preferably no competition, you've got to have those. But you've also got to have money. Money and support when you need it most, because ultimately you've got to probably survive for 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get your product to market. You will need people, you'll need development, you'll need money and support. And one of the great things about being in Cardiff is, and for MedaPhor, we've had that in bags. They've been fantastic. There is a tremendous support network in Cardiff, and MedaPhor has taken full advantage of that. See the list down. We've had support from the university, from Fusion, Finance Wales, Capital Cardiff, and the Welsh Assembly Government, to name but a few. And there's lots of smaller funds that we've been able to tap into as well. But this has been a tremendous support network for us as a business to enable us to get through all this really difficult hurdles of bringing our product to market.